What does our tap water do to our gut?
There's nothing good, period. I mean, please get well water, get spring water, find a source of better water. Tap water is loaded with chemicals and balancers and stabilizers and just on and on and on. There's so much. And you can always test your water. So, like a TDS reading of 30 or below, 10 below, that's where I'm happy. However, your tap water can be over 700.
Welcome to the Wellness Amazon podcast, where we talk about everything body, mind, and spirit, health, and wellness. No subject is taboo here, and we have fun peeling back all the layers. Let's do this.
Well, welcome, everybody. New episode of the Wellness Amazon podcast. Today, we're getting really into the wellness nitty gritty. And now, welcome to the show, Zuzu, or Karen Armes, but she goes by Zuzu. Unleashed, by the way, which we love that on the show, right? No taboos. And she is a holistic health educator, an author, and a speaker. And she's going to really go through a lot of holistic healing and nutrition and about probably energy stuff and how we can have more of that because we all need more energy. We can agree on that. So welcome to the show, Zuzu. I'm so excited you're here. I love your energy already.
Well, thank you. I'm so excited to be here. And yes, we can definitely help you get energy. That's pretty easy to explain and pretty easy to understand and pretty easy to come by. So you just don't know yet. That's all.
Yeah, we're going to fix that.
A cliffhanger.
Zuzu, how did you get where you are today and what do you do?
So thanks for asking. I am a holistic healthcare practitioner, a big time educator because I love your guts and I probably love them more than you do, only because you don't know how they work. And so when you understand how something works and you claim it as your own, you're going to protect that baby, right? Like when you spend all that money on that new car or a new computer or whatever, your new clothing, you're going to take really great care of it, look at the instructions. But we were never given instructions for our body. And so educator it is. So we have a online school of natural medicine. People graduate all over the world with our courses. They're not easy. You can't just pay $500 and get a certificate. That's not us. We are actual educators, and you become them too. So it's really great. We love it. Our students do amazing in every country they're in. So education's a big key. And then we opened up a retreat center a few years ago, and that's pretty much consumed my entire life and 17 hours a day. But it's been very rewarding. So we have people come here from all over. I think I'm the only person who's had like 22 Russians sitting in her kitchen table, in the retreat center building and all speaking Russian. And I'm just making them all this amazing food and teaching them how the body works. And they were here for like 10 days. It was super fun. So it's just an honor to work with people. And how did I get here? Probably my passion for the human body and my absolute love of people. I love people. I love them. And I love people. You'll see me walk anywhere and I'm just probably spewing some love, I guess. I don't know. I have grown up, all these years. And by the time I'm 58, I have figured out that no one in the world can feel your love if you're judging them. And I raised my kids that way. My favorite word was allow. And so they grew up just allowing people to be who they were. Like if their pants hung down below their crotch, well, that's how they're feeling amazing. And isn't that great that they have the confidence to feel amazing? So like just that's kind of where I'm at. So I had some health things. I reversed my epilepsy when I was 21, reversed my scoliosis when I was 50, the arthritis around my scoliosis when I was 51. So, there have been some, I'm never going to quit. And I love helping people get through their dis-ease as well.
Yeah. And that's what I love about your story is, you're not one of these people that comes into this profession being like, oh, I know all these things out of books and now I'm trying to teach people and tell people what to do, but I've always been like this. I've always had this, being blessed with a healthy body. No, you came from a
Yeah.
story of suffering and of figuring it out yourself and trial and error again and again. It's not just from books, it's from personal experiences where you gather your knowledge and figure things out and how to go through some stuff so that other people don't have to go through that stuff. How did that start for you?
Yeah, that was it, because when I reversed my epilepsy, I was like 21 years old, and I'm like, "Wait a minute. If I could get rid of epilepsy and off of 3 medications by understanding the synapses and the nervous system and how the brain works, what else aren't they telling you? How come my doctor didn't do this? Like, this was not terribly hard to do, and I haven't had an aura or a seizure since, so it's been amazing." So it was just a deep dive into how the body functioned, and shortly after that, someone in my family, relatively close to me, had gotten cancer. Well, so I took a deep dive into that. Now I've written a bunch on cancer. I've helped thousands of people with cancer. So it's just one of those where the more I learned and studied it, the more I understood that people just don't know how the body works. Like they have cancer or they have diabetes, but they don't understand why. And if you understand why you had cancer or why it's growing, because everyone has cancer. You have cancer. Every baby born has cancer cells. Everyone on the planet has cancer cells. Everyone on the planet has parasites and candida and mold. Well, most people have mold exposure, but why does it grow and fester in some people and not in others? And that really became my quest, was to figure out how come so and so is having high blood pressure and so is not. Well, common denominator is constipation, right? That's the number one cause of high blood pressure. And so, like, just learning how the body functioned, and this was a long time ago. I'm 58, so I started this 40 years ago. 40 years ago was my first green drink in college. I met this awesome woman. She had like 12 kids and she was super cool. And I kind of just met her. She was the wife of one of my professors that got along real well. I sing, and so he played the piano and we did some telethon stuff. But anyhow, and it just kind of was a whirlwind since then. And I say a whirlwind because it still is. And it has been amazing to watch people save their limbs and get rid of neuropathy and just name it, like just name it, because the body, I would think maybe less than 3% of what people deal with cannot be reversed. I stand with a lot of naturopathic doctors who feel the same way. A lot of people who've done genetic research, and they realize there's a lot that we can do to turn genes off. You don't got to just leave them on and then you always have active BRCA1 or BRCA2. Like you don't. Genes don't just they don't self-actuate, they get turned on, and so there are things we can do in our body to help us stay healthy. I love it. I love teaching it.
Yeah. Shout it from the rooftops. The body is
Ah,
here to heal itself.
yes.
Mhm. Mhm. So you focus a lot when people look at your work, like you just said, gut, cells, energy, which then, of course, leads to longevity, right? Because I mean, if you take care of yourself, you'll probably live longer. How do you teach this to someone when they think they come to you with a thing, let's just say, I don't know, arthritis, right? And they think problem in the joints and you go, actually, no. How does this work?
That is an awesome question. I love it because you don't treat a symptom. I mean, we can. We can
Uh-huh.
like address the symptom, but you don't treat it. You address it. Okay, let's get you out of pain. Let's get you sleeping. Let's get whatever. You have arthritis because you're completely acidic. Okay, so either you have to own up and fix your diet and make some changes, or just live with it. And that's pretty much I'm like, I don't care. I will help anyone understand what's going on in their body. I don't care if they do any protocol I recommend or not. That's not on me. I don't care if they want. If they want to waste their $300 meeting with me and then not do their protocol, okay, that's up to them. But they now know why they have these, or they have a better idea. We can't always nail it on the head. I don't diagnose, but I definitely help them self understand what's going on in the body. It's pretty simple when you put a drop of blood on the microscope and you look at it, you can see fibrinogen and you can see mold and you can see, spirochetes. You can see so much in one drop of blood that can show you what's going on. And that's probably my favorite thing is at the retreats, people come and we do a bunch of, blood cell analysis and blood work and urine analysis. And like, we have $70,000 of biofeedback equipment. We just do we have an ultrasound technician who flies in and she does an ultrasound of all the major organs in the body. We do thermal imaging. So we really get an idea of what might not be working perfectly. And then after 8 days, I'm not kidding. Like I have video I can show you right now. After 8 days, their blood has made such a transformation all the time. This happens every single time we do retreats. And I believe it's because Well, obviously, they're changing their diet drastically. During a retreat, we have a phenomenal, phenomenal food menu. Like, you will love every single thing we ever make. Everybody does. Like, everybody, like, the garbage isn't, there's nothing in it. It's so fun. But there is no grain, and there is no dairy, and there is no meat, and there is no sugar, which is what people live off of. But when you
Mhm.
clean the inner vessel and you clean the bloodstream, then everything can dump out. So you can do your sauna and your lymphatic suit, and you can get in the hyperbaric chamber, and you can be doing all this detoxing, and it's not clogging you up because your bowels are moving, you're feeling great, you have energy because you're loaded with biophotons, which are particles of light, which only can be found in living food. And so you just kind of roll with it and feel better. So it's really neat to start back at the simple things instead of the symptom. Again, we can address it. Here's a couple herbs to get rid of the headache or to help the leaky gut. But how did it get leaky? Like, if
Mhm.
you don't, how did you get cancer? Why is it growing in your body? Well, because there's not enough oxygen. You have way too much sugar. You eat too much grain, and sugar, and all feeds cancer. Every type of sugar feeds cancer. So it's pretty simple to know how cancer grows because you're feeding it, or you're totally stressed out, which is acidic. So there's just a it's just neat. It's just neat to understand that. And I guess, to answer your question, when you understand the systems of the body, like what the nervous system does, what the endocrine system does, what the respiratory system does, all the different systems of the body, then when something's out of whack, oh, that falls under this category. So looking upstream, it's not my endocrine system. It's the nervous system that controls the endocrine system. Something's wrong.
Mhm.
Or I'm not making enough of a hormone. Well, why aren't I making it? Is it the organ that's not functioning properly? Or do I simply, and this is almost always the case, I don't have the building blocks. I'm missing lysine or glutamic acid or valine, or I'm missing, those are all amino acids, right? Or I'm missing a certain vitamin or a mineral. Minerals are the sparks of life. If you don't have enough phosphorus, you're going to have a real issue. Not if you, most people don't have near enough sodium, healthy sodium. Please don't eat salt from the grocery store. But anyhow, they don't have enough sodium, and then boom, they're not going to function properly. If they don't have enough vitamin C naturally in their food from the foods they eat, then their iron won't absorb. So sometimes it's like just the building blocks are missing. And when you change your diet for those 8 days, and you can do it at home. You don't got to come here, even though you would love it, but you can change this at home and just see what happens to your body. Like, it's not hard, but it really starts with wanting. It starts with a desire to be well and feel incredible. So,
Mhm. It seems like when we talk about food and nutrition and how to feed yourself, that seems to be such a huge obstacle because everybody who I ever have on the show, everybody in the holistic field, they all say the same thing. You cannot biohack yourself out of a crappy lifestyle. You can't. It's all like, oh, ice bath, sauna, peptides, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, what you have for breakfast? How
that's
about we
right.
start there?
Did you drink your water before you drank your gallon of coffee and tea? Like, what kind of water, what kind of fluid are you putting into your intercellular fluid and your
Mhm.
extracellular fluid for it to grab nutrients from? I mean, if we're just drinking acid and mold, which is every single cup of coffee you ever have, so please get acid-free and mycotoxin-free coffee. Tastes great. You can find it at your local health food store. But anyhow, like, if you're not aware of where you're getting those symptoms from, you're right. Hit it on the head. You can't biohack out of it. Amen.
Yeah. Yeah. And it seems that because I always try to figure it out. Is it too simple? Is it not sexy enough? Is it because you have to do the work? It's not going to, because the peptide does the work for me. So I am not the one who has to change my diet, kind of thing. Like, I can't figure out what the actual hang up is on people not doing it. I don't know. Do you see this when you work with clients on why this is such a hurdle?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm going to share a story. So we have an online school. Our graduates are phenomenal, absolutely brilliant. Especially the highest levels, right? And I had someone come through for a practicum, and this is one. out of thousands, right? And I just did her practicum recently, and it was and for each one of the symptoms, the people that she was working with, the list of supplements, I was like, you can't do this. Like, this is not okay. Like she totally missed the point, but we know why. But anyhow, and I was like appalled. I'm like, you can't put people on all these, because she said, Karen, these are the people I work with, and this is what they want. This is what they're
Mm.
used to. And I was like, okay, but you just paid a lot of money to become my student to learn that's not how you actually reverse all disease. That's how we temporarily put a fix on something. And it was really interesting because I thought that's true. She's telling me, but Karen, these are what the people want. And I thought that
Uh-huh.
is so true. We changed in 1912 after the Flexner report came out. There was a major change in the medical community because we had hospitals everywhere and doctors that were learning about colon hydrotherapy, and they were learning about hydrotherapy as in putting frequencies into a bathtub, and then you get into that bathtub and you change the frequencies to get rid of whatever you have, because that's electroculture medicine. This is nothing new. Electric medicine has been around for thousands and thousands of years. We were still using acupuncture, we were using herbs, we were using essential oils, we were doing breath work. There were so many things we were doing. In Germany, you could reverse scoliosis just doing breath work and bending over fences and chairs and, crazy things. So we knew. But then when the Flexion report came out from Carnegie and Rockefeller, because they wanted to standardize things, but they standardized things to petroleum-based pharmaceuticals. And now there
Mhm.
was a pill for everything. And that's when
Mhm.
it started, guarantee. Because now people thought, oh, I can just get a pill for that. Oh, I'll just get a pill. It wasn't, they didn't have to take responsibility anymore. Now it
Mhm.
became, I can be a victim because I tried that and it didn't work. And my doctor said, so my doctor's gonna give me something else. My doctor's the hero. I'm the victim. And so when you have a hero and a victim, you are going to be in drama, right? There's always a hero and there's a victim and the antagonist. And so when we look at how people act right now when it comes to supplements and food, they should be able to eat whatever they want because they can just take a pill. It doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
And that's where I think that's where it happened. And so I see it clearly. I've been doing this for decades. Right now, the people who are walking in our center, every single time I meet with somebody new, they're like, I'm done. I don't want to take anything else. I don't want to take it anymore. And they'll bring in 30, 40, 10, 20 different medications that they're on. And that's not my place. It's against the law for me to help them titrate off. But some of them are on potassium. I'm like, well, that's a mineral. It comes out of the ground. Here's the foods that contain it. So talk to your doctor. But it's been
Mhm.
really neat because these people are getting off of 2, 8, 10 medications quickly and using their doctor, using the internet for their titration, whatever they choose to do. But they're going to food for medicine now. And they're literally allowing medicine to be their food and food to be their medicine. So it has been a really exciting change of events, especially since COVID had been announced. That transformed. I think that completely transformed holistic health and natural health because people realized that maybe this wasn't the correct answer and maybe we weren't told the whole truth and nothing but the truth. And so
Mhm.
people are more careful and more inquisitive. And it's exciting. Our classes are full, our school's doing great. People are very excited because they want to learn how and why and bridge Eastern and Western medicine for good. That's our slogan at our school, bridging Western and Eastern medicine for good. I love medical doctors. I have a phone full of medical doctors and surgeons that I love, and we talk to each other because we want our clients to do well, and I need diagnostic testing. I need some of these surgeries to be done, and we need maybe 17% of the pharmaceuticals. Those are phenomenal things we need. So it's not a my way or your highway. It's the bridge that
Yeah.
I think the world I say the world, but I hate to remind everybody, if you're in America, we're 4% of the world's population. We think we're so
Yeah.
important, right? We're the 55th healthiest country in the world, and we're 4% of the world. So, like, get over it, right? So, like, okay, whoever thinks like you're so amazing and your
Uh,
healthcare system is just incredible, like, think again and look
mhm.
at the world. But anyhow, that I've said my piece.
Yes, 100%. Healthcare system, school system, don't get me started. I know.
That's right.
Well, and from someone who's, born and raised in Germany, I immediately got sick going to the US, and I was bombarded. I couldn't believe it everywhere about what you said in the beginning about the whole grains. Whole grains, grains. You need to eat grains. You need to eat oats. You need to eat and I was like, "Really? Oh." Okay, well, I mean, I guess, and well, long and behold, that didn't work. And it's funny that what you said about the white coats, it's doctors, and again, we need Western medicine, just like you said. Emergency care, if I break my arm, do not give me essential oils, okay? I need you to fix my arm. Yes, 100%. However, if you talk to a doctor, they don't know anything about nutrition. This is not something that they have to do in school. So there's a huge disconnect because, I mean, as you teach, everything you put in your mouth
Mhm,
has a reaction in your body, either positive or negative.
mhm.
So, w- everybody's talking about the gut is the second brain. Now they're thinking about, oh, it's actually the first brain. It's actually more important than the brain, and all of these new things are coming out. So, what do you see when you have clients coming to you? Is it usually the standard American diet that they're on?
It's just, and they drink the water out of the tap. Let's just talk about water. I mean, I have a distiller, and I have people that can bring a gallon of water in, and we can just distill it, just to show them what comes out of a gallon of tap water.
Oof.
If any of you are
Ugh.
thinking that your water community actually really cares about your health, please, please, please distill a gallon of
Cheers.
water and look at what comes out. And please stop drinking out of plastic full of estrogens. Like really, we're completely knocked up that way. So I think that you hit it on the head. We were, again, told by a trusting society, our government, right? And the public health, which sounds beautiful, public health. They care about our public health. My daughter graduated from Johns Hopkins. I went to the graduation, and guess what? Most of the people in the stands didn't agree with what was being said. Half the students, they know they're not blind anymore. They don't have their blinders on. People are wide awake that nutrition is much more important than it ever has been considered to be. And the standard American diet, the SAD diet, is. It's definitely a major reason that we have a society that looks the way it looks. I'm sorry. I've traveled a lot, right? I can't wait to travel more, but I'm in Thailand, I'm in Samoa, I've been to Fiji, I've been Mexico. And if you look at the people in their countries, wow, what a difference. And when you go to Disneyland or Disney World in America, you're like, oh, oh, ooh, and I'm from Wisconsin, so I had cows all over my backyard. Like I was literally, I speak cow because I'm a bike rider, so I speak cow. But anyhow, and so, but cows, like milk from a cow is designed, that little heifer, to give milk to its baby who weighs what, 60 to 80 pounds when it's born, and get it to hundreds of pounds. And then we're sucking that milk, we're drinking it. Like, look at America. Yep, we're drinking it. And just like you said, grain is not at all. That's not what we are designed to live on. We weren't designed to live on meat, dairy, or grain. I don't care if you have some. I enjoy some once in a while, but we weren't designed that way. And grain is given to cattle to do what? Fatten them up. You put them on
Mhm.
grain, they get so fat, their stomachs can't turn anymore, and then you kill them. So it's just one of those things where, yes, food is a huge culprit, and guts are definitely screwed up. And it's more than just the food and the water. It really is, because I know I study electricity. I've spoken on electricity a lot, and EMFs definitely disturb the body. People don't even know that you all have candida. Most of you, 75% of the people listening right now or downloading this, have candida overgrowth. And that's dandruff. It shows as low libido, watery, glassy eyes, athlete's foot, toenail fungus, white stuff on your arms, whatever, vaginal yeast infections, even UTIs, bloating, all of that, right? And it's interesting because that candida overgrowth, the electrical stimulation for candida overgrowth was, and I think still is in some of the older computers, the little clock in the corner of your computer vibrated the same as candida. So while you're sitting in front of your computer, you're literally getting much more than one little frequency, by the way, but you are growing candida sitting in front of your computer. What are we
Mhm.
doing with our cell phones? And all your different apps put out different frequencies. All the music listened to, besides being altered decades ago, that's putting out frequencies. So, like, we are really bombarded by electromagnetic frequencies that literally can control our emotions and our feelings. How many of you wake up in despair between 2 and 7 in the morning, right? How many of you are aware that even the cows in many parts of the country are finding shelter? They're, instead of grazing at night and being out, they're actually going under metal roofs. We are exposed to things we are unaware of. in our air and in through frequency that actually affect us. So it is our job to do the best we can because I can't control what they're dumping on me in the air. I can't control that. I can't control where they're putting the 5G towers up. I can move as far away as possible. I cannot have, Wi-Fi in my home or my business. I can make those self choices, but what I can do, that's what we want to focus on. What can you do? What can I do? What
Yeah.
can we do as a community? We can drink cleaner water. We can learn to raise some food. We can buy better food. We can wash our food more. We can drink more water instead of coffees and sodas and the crap. We can take care of our cellular function dramatically better than we currently are if we just put some attention into it. So I think, yes, we can get wrapped up in, oh my gosh, they're dumping this from the sky. Yeah, they are. Okay, whatever. They are. Everyone knows geoengineering is real. We all know what's going on in our water supply. Like, we
Mhm.
get it. But we can sit there and moan about it. Oh, sorry about that. But yeah, we can moan about
You're
that
good.
and blame everybody. But then what are you? Then
Yeah.
you're a victim again. Like, get out of victimhood. There's something you can do. You can go plant cilantro and get the heavy metals out of your body. Like, just get a pot and put good dirt in it and put cilantro seeds and start eating it. Like, there's so much you can do instead of sitting in front of Netflix all day. Like, there's so much we can do to
Yeah.
feel vibrant and feel alive again and love on our neighbors. There's just so much we can do. And rather
Yeah.
than get upset, let's move
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah. And it's very hard because I have teenagers now, and I see the indoctrination of this stuff, right? When I tell my teens, could you please, for the love of God, use headphones that have a cable? They look at me like I came from Mars. What? Stop using the Bluetooth in your ear. That's right next to your brain. Why? Oh my God. And then I send them all the stuff and they're like, oh, mom's crazy. But, at the end of the day, I win, but it's hard, because everybody walks around with their little Bluetooth stuff, or the girls stick their phones in their bras or in their back pocket, and I cringe. And my kids have these EMF blocking phone cases with a little flap, and they're like, this is so not cool. I'm like, yeah, you know what's not cool? Cancer. Cancer is not cool either. I don't care what you say. Um, talk to me about, I actually, let's do a little bit of a deep dive, because when you say water, that's a very easy thing to do, right? That's when you say, let's get out of victimhood. What does our tap water do to our gut?
Oh gosh. There's nothing good, period. I mean, please get well water, get spring water. If you go to springsnearme.com, it'll show you all the springs, most likely in the whole world, like it's everywhere. But find a source of better water. Tap water is loaded with chemicals and balancers and stabilizers and just on and on and on. There's so much. And you can always test your water. Just order a cheap $20 TDS meter, total dissolved solid meter. It's not going to tell you what's in the water. It's going to tell you how much of what crap is in your water. So like a
Mm.
TDS reading of 30 or below, 10 below, that's where I'm happy. However, your tap water can be over 700. I have had the Vegas water in Las Vegas, Nevada, when they brought some of that into test, was over 700. Northern Utah over 700. All over the country, we've tested water, and you can find a lot of these TDS readings online. So you can go and look at the TDS readings online, and they'll show you cities that people are just like me, testing their water, posting the number. That is how many total dissolved solids are in your glass of water. You don't know what you're drinking. That's why you distill it out. So, and I would love to talk about water for a few minutes, because there's a lot of people spending a lot of money on Kangen water systems and other water systems that are like creating a high pH of the water. You do you. You do whatever you want to do. But here's some education. You have 3 areas of the body that need to be acidic or they don't work. Your stomach. Oh, not enough acid. You have acid reflux, heartburn,
Mhm.
GERD, hypochondroplasia. Your vaginal canal for women needs to be acidic, or you're going to catch everything from everyone. So you need to
Mhm.
test your microbiome down there, ladies, and get that regulated. Stop using douches and all crap, and
Oh
I don't know who
God.
you're with, but be careful with what you're doing down there. And the third thing is
Mhm.
your colon. Your colon needs to be acidic. And what does the colon do? Suck the rest of the water out of it, right? So if you're throwing, number 2, there's a couple things scientifically. If you take a high pH water, which you'll drink a lot of if you just spent $5,000 on a unit, and you put it in the mouth, well, 2 things happen. Number 1, your mouth, your water, a lot of it's going to change to some of the same pH of your mouth. So half that pH isn't even going to hit their stomach. And if it does go to the stomach, a high pH, that's the last place in the body you want a high pH. Your stomach must be 1.7 to 2.7 pH, potential hydrogen. Otherwise, the pyloric sphincter doesn't open. And then you're going to get acid reflux because it didn't open to get that food out of your stomach. So the lower esophageal sphincter opens up and it comes back up. It's super simple, super simple. But if you want to at least get to some basics of water, yeah, get a distiller. Oh, get an RO unit. Just do something to help cleanse your water. We do structured water that's already filtered. We have a big fancy system on our whole property here. But that's not in everybody's budget. It was when I bought the property. I put it on right away before I spent it on anything else because I was like,
Yeah.
nope, I got to have that for the retreat center. But you can get an RO unit. You can even just go buy RO water. Take your glass jugs and go and get water at your natural grocers or whatever you shop at. They usually have water that you can test with a TDS meter. Distillers are only a couple $100. And yes, for all of you, oh my gosh, distilled water is like empty water. It's going to pull apart your bones. No, it won't. It will never pull apart your bones. It won't pull apart that kind of organic activity. What it will do, it is empty water. So it can remove the rock minerals that you have stuck in the body, causing things like varicose veins. And so using distilled water to help heal the body, if you think about everybody, what are you drinking out of I mean, really, the water that comes out of the sky is distilled. Like really, if you go back to the beginning of, the earth, that's the design. But of course, you can't drink that all the time because you don't have stuff in the skies anymore. But the distilled water out of a distiller is great. It has a 0 TDS, completely 0 TDS. And then you can add lemon or basil or some minerals. You can add whatever you want to your water. Now you'll have more TDS, but you know what's in it. Now you know you
Yeah.
squeeze the organic lemon in there. And now you have a TDS reading of 120, but you know what's in it. And so I guess with water, getting a TDS meter, there's a filter system called the Zero filter that'll take out all your total dissolved solids. Doesn't distill it, but it does remove all your total dissolved solids. So just become more aware. If anything, just go and start getting a 5-gallon jug of water, even if it's in a old plastic container. And you can ask for an old plastic container. You don't want the new ones. You want the old ones, or get some glass ones. Um, Plastic is supposed to off gas for at least a year before they put water in it, but of course that doesn't happen, to prevent extra, extra of the plastics, microplastics. So as far as water goes, it is something, and I really encourage 2 quarts of water by 2. So 2 quart jars. I usually have a quart jar on my desk. I don't. I wash them all. But 2 quart jars of water by 2. And honey, make it a fish bowl. Like put everything in there. Put cilantro and put grapes and put cucumbers and put oranges. I don't care. Make it fun. You don't have to be like, oh,
Yeah.
I hate water. I can never hate water. Well, then don't drink water. Drink a fish bowl. Like it's fun. Add some Himalayan salt, whatever you do, but try to get that water in the body, especially before you go to coffee. Just
Yeah.
try to drink water before you get the coffee. Yep,
Yeah.
that's you asked. There's my little shindig on water.
And I'm grateful for that. I mean, we have reverse osmosis filter underneath the sink. And yeah, it's so funny because in the health field, you hear more and more about distilled water. And when I was a kid, my mom always had distilled water in the house for her ironing board, right? And she treated it like it's poison. Don't ever drink this. This is really dangerous. You're gonna die. And when all of this stuff came out, I was like, wait, what? People are drinking distilled water? I thought that was poisonous. No, it's not.
I love it. I love it.
And yeah, my friend Annika, she got me onto the copper, real copper, not fake
Mhm.
copper.
Yes.
I actually tested it the other day and it held a magnet on it and I was scared, but it's not magnetic, so we're good.
I love it. Good for you.
Um, well, and if you think about it, I mean, I live in Florida. We have horrible water. Even when I do the dishes and it's not, we have a softener, but it's not a filter. We don't have a whole house filter yet. I can smell the chlorine. And then when I think about I shower in this, if I take a bath, I'm essentially like laying in a chlorine pool for, I don't know, an hour or two. That's disgusting.
Yep. Yep. And it's probably warm, so you're absorbing all of that. So yeah, you do. And you can get some really inexpensive chlorine filters, at least even if you replace it every month, $30 a month. Hey, it's worth it not to be sucking in chlorine. We have a trick for people who want to go into a pool. And, summer's coming, we're going to be in pools, especially all over Florida. Put your Put coconut oil all over your body before you get in the pool. Coconut oil is a sealant. It seals the skin so nothing can get in. That's why you don't use coconut oil with essential oils or because it's not a humectant. You want a humectant like olive oil. That's a humectant that'll drive things into the skin. So before you get into a pool, making sure that you put some coconut oil on your body, then you want to absorb that chlorine or just find some good saltwater pools near you. There's a lot of public saltwater pools now.
Yeah. And I mean, also, if you live in Florida, you have a lot of springs around you. So take
Yes.
advantage of that. Yeah.
Mhm.
How does this connect from the gut? Since we're talking about water, got me thinking from the gut to the cells, because every time somebody pitches anything about water, they always talk about hydrating the cells and how not living water does not actually hydrate the cells. What's that all about?
Yeah, and that really they say that, but, uh, the thing that they don't always stress is your diet is, like, everything, because if you're eating fruits and vegetables and you're drinking water, you won't need as much water because 'cause you're eating fruits and vegetables a lot during the day, but if you are eating fruits and vegetables, your water's alive, period. Whatever water you're consuming, the minerals because water conducts electricity. What are minerals? Minerals are electrons, right? These are just electric activity. So if you're eating an apple and you're eating, your salad or you're eating vegetables that aren't all cooked to death, by the way, don't steam and cook everything. You're going to have living water just because the water you drink is going to be conducting electricity. So, but if you're living on the standard American diet or whatever diet they have in your country that is all cooked and dead and there's no enzymes, et cetera, and there's hardly any vegetables, now we have an issue because we need minerals and we need fiber in order for our bodies to function. So yeah, the cellular hydration is super great, but I've had plenty of people who drink a lot of water and they're not hydrated because they don't add salt to their water. They don't have enough salt in their diet. They don't have enough potassium to make sure that sodium potassium ratio is normalized. So I think, and one of the easiest things you can do to your water, everyone here today, even if you're stuck with tap water today, before you go buy your RO unit, put your water in a blender and blend it for 10 seconds before you drink it. That's structured water. Now you're structuring your water. You don't got to spend any extra money. You got the blender, and boom, you drink structured water. It absorbs so much faster
Oh.
than just water out of a tap or water. You can get structure units, these little spiral things, that you can put onto your water filters, and then as the water's going through that, it is vortexing and it's structuring. So you can get all sorts of things to structure water, but you can also do it for free if you have a blender. So at
Yeah.
least you can do something to make that water better absorb. So structure your water, throw some lemon in it, drink it. Structure your water, throw it in a glass, whatever, and throw some whatever you want to put in there and drink it. So simple things you can do right away. And it does affect us all. What's that?
Would one of those frothers work too?
Oh yeah. Yep, that'll
Since
help.
it does this awesome. I'm gonna do that today.
That more mixes it, a blender will, like, cut into it. If you think of what structured water is, so structured water by the way, we have, like, one of the only I think it's the only structured water pool that's open to the public in the world, and we use it all the time, like, it's amazing. So we have 5,000 frequencies going through our water, structuring it constantly. It's absolutely crazy. So structuring is when you take 1 molecule of water and you burst it into, like, hundreds. So that's why the cutting of the blender is gonna be a little bit more
Mhm.
structuring than the twirly thing, but that twirly thing is still far better than just drinking it straight. So I'm glad you mentioned that. Really.
Yeah. Awesome. So, if we take care of the gut and the cells, that now equals to more energy, correct?
Yes. And the main thing with the gut is, man, protect your gut. Like, there's so much to talk about when it comes to the gut. If you have bloating, stop
Mhm.
eating fiber and don't eat anything fermented. Just get rid of the bloating first, right? If you have bloating, it's because you have a candida overgrowth or you have SIBO, small intestinal bacteria overgrowth, which is simply bacteria from the colon that the door was open, that ileocecal valve was wide open, and that bacteria is like, whoa, look at all the food in there. Let's migrate. And so they go from the colon into the small intestine, and now they're not leaving because they have set up
Oh.
shop, honey, and your restaurant in there is amazing. They're kind of sick of the smell and sick of what's going on in that colon. And so now all that
Right.
single cell bacteria is off gassing, puff, 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 right? And now you're getting puffier and puffier and you're getting this bloating. You're like, man, everything I eat makes me bloat. Plants are so bad. No, the
Mm.
only reason you can't break down your plant is because you got rid of the microbiome by using hand sanitizer and everything else you've done to sanitize. You've completely ruined your gut microbiome with your antibiotics and
Mhm.
all your Purell, and now you can't break down a plant. Plants are what you're designed to live on as a plant. You're not designed to live on a dead animal. Oh my gosh. Hello, look at carnivores. They have the shortest intestinal tract in the world. Us vegetarians, right? We got these long intestinal systems because we do not want meat to go from point A to point B, 27 feet, and take its time fermenting the whole way. Because then you get polyps and all sorts of crap that doesn't get stuck. That doesn't come out of the body. I don't care if you eat meat. I got, 300 pounds of beef from our farm and our family farm in Arkansas. It's phenomenal. I don't eat much of it. I don't like meat. But you don't eat meat 3 times a day if you want to, unless you're like, we'll put people on a carnivore or really strict keto diet for a few months if we need to fix the cell lining
Mhm.
of the gut. So food is medicine, right? Or if we have seizures or Tourette's, extra Y chromosome, I'm going to recommend that we do more fats and less vegetables only for a period of time while we heal that gut,
Right.
because you cannot live on a carnivore diet forever and like live until you're ancient and be sparkly healthy, because you actually need fiber in order for your microbiome to live, because your healthy bacteria, which you have more cells of healthy bacteria than you do human cells, they need fiber, and a very diverse array of fiber. If you're having a salad and you're thinking you're doing great, but there's only tomatoes and cucumbers and lettuce, that's nice. You're feeding a few varieties of bacteria. You throw kohlrabi and pumpkin seeds and tomatoes and artichokes and whatever else you put on there. Now you have fiber, and that bacteria is going, whoa! And now we can improve our vaginal health microbiome. A lot of people don't know, if a man has prostate cancer, it can be triggered because they don't have the right microbiome in the prostate. I'm not
Mhm.
kidding. Like, this is so cool. So I love the fact that we're coming into a time where there's more research being done and more vocalization of what you're absorbing actually really matters to the body. So time and a
Yeah.
place, time and a place.
Yeah. And it is so, because it is so complex and because there is so many gazillion ones that we have on our skin, inside of us, everywhere. It is really not um checked out enough for us to know everything. We're still on the baby steps of understanding it because it is so complex and individual. And we were on a different show, we were talking about, like, primal health design, again, like, the basics, getting them right, right? And he was talking about the Hadza in Africa and how that's, one of the last tribes we have on Earth that is really, really, really secluded from modern society, and so people study them a lot because that's the perfect
Mhm,
way to see how humans are actually designed to be, and they eat a ton of fiber
mhm.
because they eat all these roots, but also, they digest them beautifully because they live with nature. They are in the dirt all day. They don't sit, they squat. They do, they're not on their phone. So it's everything is in this. It's just made for this and it works beautifully because nobody has screwed it up just yet. And I love what you say that there is extremes for extreme situations, but
Yes.
not for it's just like I hear this all the time. There was this craze about what you said. Oh, the pH water thing, right? And then people came and said, well, actually, we don't do this for a healthy person. We do this is if we are in dire need of this,
Mm,
but not for someone who just wants to get a little better. That's not a good idea. So it's very confusing out there. When
yeah.
someone comes and says, I have the solution for everything. And then, we figure out a little bit down the road, like, no, actually, that's not it.
Yeah, it is, and that's gotta be so hard. I woke up this morning, I was talking with one of my girlfriends who came in for our documentary shoot tomorrow, and we were like, "What's real anymore?" Like, you don't even know what's
Yeah.
real. You've got all
Yeah.
these paid influencers, and I don't know how many of you know that there are I can't remember, tip my tongue, you may know, but there is a database you can go to as an influencer as you get more and more, likes and people following you, and you get paid to say things. You get paid to speak the narrative, and you get paid a lot of money to speak the narrative. You get paid to sell product. paid to, and it's behind the door, behind the scenes. You will never know they're being paid for some of the stuff. Some of it they don't need to disclose. And so just be aware of that. Just because and I remember this clear as day, if I may be so blunt, when I got into the raw food diet. I had maybe 5 children at that time, and I was like, you know what? I've always eaten like a lot of raw food. I was probably a raw foodist before we even heard that term, and I
Mhm.
raised my children a lot that way, and they did phenomenal. But I remember when the internet came out, I was like one of the first people, by the way, I know I'm that old, to actually get a website, like a www site. Just so you know, that was cool. But all of a sudden, there's these influencers with the raw food diet with these big boobs, and they're like, hello, let me tell you about living food, baby. And I was like, man, that is so disturbing.
Yeah.
I'm like, I've been living it this way. I have energy. I run businesses, have these kids. And I think it's really neat when you can find people who are living this lifestyle honestly. So do some in-depth research on these influencers. They're cute little big boobs and they've got a beautiful house that may be fake, but just get to know the people you're trying to follow. Because if you're
Mhm.
just like if you're at a doctor and they look sick, don't go back. Like, hello, why would you go to a doctor who doesn't take care of themselves? Like, they're not living in this lifestyle. So find the people that are really your peeps wherever you're at, because we're all going to find and be attracted to different people. And I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, not ever shooting anyone down who does have the knowledge and doesn't walk the talk. Yes, you do have the knowledge and you can probably still help people, but there is still a difference of someone who lives it and therefore can talk out of an experience with you and who does it every day. So therefore can also motivate you to really, like what you said, take that radical self-responsibility
Yeah.
and not be in that victim mindset. So I just think that someone who is teaching others about something should be living what they're teaching. That's just, I don't know.
It's easier to believe. One of my favorite acupuncturists, his name is Christopher, and when he graduated acupuncture school, he was 320 pounds. And
Mhm.
the Chinese woman, who ran the school was like, Christopher, you is amazing acupuncturist, but no one will ever come to you because you're a fat boy. And he was like, "Oh my gosh," It's like, but
Right.
he lost, 200 pounds, and yeah, and he's like, it was so true. But as I lost weight and I got healthier and I was living this lifestyle, it was so much easier to teach it to people. And I'm so
Mhm.
glad you did bring up, because like one of my favorite chiropractors, he's in Utah, terribly overweight. He's brilliant with the back, and he admits he has addictions.
Mm.
So I still go there when I go out that way because he's a really good chiropractor. He treats one of my daughters all the time. But it's hard to it is. You just live and learn your people and find those who are living it, because they're going to. And I know too much. This is where I don't even want to talk, because I know some of the really big influencers that are out there writing all these books and blank, blank, blank. When you get to know a lot of people like I do, I also know what their family life is like and what they're smoking that none of you will ever know. It's very interesting, the life that can be spoken and written about in a book, but then the life that they lead for whatever choices that they've made for that. So just acknowledge people are going to still make mistakes. Even the people you put on a pedestal are going to screw up or make a mistake or have an issue, because we are all human. And I still
Yeah.
love these people, but I recognize that, oh, I don't have to look at their book as scripture or something,
Mhm.
because this is just what they've studied, but this is actually how they live. And so I think that, but I'm kind of big on what you believe is based on what you know. So the
Mhm.
more you can learn, the more you can change your beliefs. You'll keep altering beliefs every day of your life. You're going to
Yes.
you're going to learn more information. So you're going to believe differently. And I think that, so I'm glad you brought that up, because even though your doctor might not look really great, he might be really book smart. He might teach you something, and grab that part of it and
Mhm.
just acknowledge that they're human. They're addicted to sugar or soda, whatever it might be. If they can't get out of a bad relationship that's, spiraling them down, whatever, we don't know, because we don't know what other people are burdening with, their selves with. And that is why I love to teach no judgment, like no judgment. You just don't know. We don't know what's going on. We don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can't be mad at the
And
TSA workers. We can't, because they're pulling money out of their 401ks to live. Like, so we
yeah.
can be all mad and get in our well, I'm not getting what I want and what I deserve. Okay, because we're thinking about us and we're judging them. And I'm sure we're all accountable for that at some point. But what
Mhm.
we don't know is, oh, they live paycheck to paycheck because they get paid peanuts and they're pulling money out of their savings accounts so they can feed their kids while they're showing up to work for you. So, like, there's a lot we don't know about each other.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Grace. Show some grace. And
yeah.
the one thing that you just said, I wanna highlight that, very important. You learn every day and your beliefs change every day. And I wanna highlight this because this should be like this, because there's people out there that get so hung up on this one thing that they thought was right 2 years ago, and there's
Mhm.
all this evidence that it is not, and they're still beating that drum because they are so afraid of being honest with themselves that, "Oh, I was wrong," and it doesn't even have to be your fault. You got taught something wrong and you absorbed that information from an expert or whatever it is, right? And maybe that also worked for you at the time and was fantastic, and 2 years later it doesn't. It's okay to evolve and be honest and say, "You know what? This thing that I said 2 years ago, I it's not working for me anymore, and I found something different."
Excellent. Yeah, one of the sayings I told my kids all the time was, "It's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice."
Yeah.
It's great to be right, and but that doesn't mean you're right about everything, and it's not that important. And in marriages, I see it all the time. I'm writing an article right now for just for the a bunch of a publisher and whatnot, but it's on sex and on sleep and on our partners, and it's like you might have completely different political views than your spouse. Are you letting
Mhm.
that divide you?
Yeah.
Because then there's something wrong. Because then you're so right and they're so wrong. How can you ever love each other? You can't. You can't make love. You can't actually love each other. He won't want to open the door for you. He'll want to slam it in your face because you're just so self-righteous and you know everything and he doesn't because you're just so much smarter. And I'm like, you got to get out of your head about being right because you actually might not be. There might be something you don't know and you may be wrong, even though you're really set that this is right. And there are some things that are quite obvious, like many of us know certain things that are very right, you know,
Mhm.
because it's been so beaten over and exposed, but we aren't all at that same place in the labyrinth. The ending
Yeah.
of my book, so the 4th edition is finally done. We're so excited. But the end of the book, I have a big labyrinth in my backyard because I think everyone should walk labyrinths. It's extremely unwinding to the mind. You can go online and find all sorts of labyrinths near you. And it's nothing weird. So if you read some weird thing on labyrinths, you're obviously reading the wrong thing. But this is a labyrinth, and this is the one I have in my backyard. And
Wow.
if you look at the labyrinth, every part of the labyrinth, ours is actually bigger now, but every part of that labyrinth is going to have people on it, and they'll be on completely different sides of the labyrinth, walking different directions. There's only one path in a labyrinth. There's
Mhm.
only one path in a labyrinth. Where you start is actually where you come out. So when you start on a labyrinth and one person walks 10 feet and the next person starts to walk, you're all walking at different times. You're going to be way over there, will be somebody, and then I'll be over here. Someone will be in the middle, someone will be at the beginning. We're all on the same path. We're just at different places. And when we get caught up with, I'm in the right place, you're all facing the wrong direction.
Mhm.
Just something to think about.
Yeah. That's a beautiful, way to look at it because, yeah, you're right. We're all somewhere else in a state in different times, different growth state, so mhm.
Doesn't mean you
Okay.
gotta like everybody. You don't gotta like everybody, but you just have to
Yeah.
acknowledge that they exist on the same path. And so get over yourself being right all the time. Like just get over it. you know?
Mhm. Mhm. You never know. You're never in somebody else's shoes. So,
Mhm. Yeah.
the one thing I wanna do a little side quest on, because we have a lot of, and again, welcoming all the men on the show. You're very welcome here, but we do have a lot of female listeners.
Mhm.
Um, and this is something I'm really, really passionate about, and you mentioned it a couple of times. So again, coming from Germany, I have never, Zuzu, until I came here, never in my life seen a douche, okay? Never. It's like, and then I asked, "What is this?" "Well, this is just" "Okay. What do you put in there?" Most of the time vinegar." I was baffled. You couldn't I couldn't process this, okay?
Mhm.
What is something that maybe even you see a lot, or something that you could even recommend maybe for any female that has issues with their microbiome down there?
Excellent. Okay. I'm so glad you asked that. Number one, learn about the microbiome of the vaginal area because it is so important, the diversity of the microbiome. And it's not too diverse. That's the whole thing. There are definitely strains that need to be there, but there are strains that don't need to be there. And if you're smelly, you've got things going on around your menstrual cycle or around intercourse, you are just whacked out. You just are. It's okay. Let's get some tests. There's a lot of different companies that have tests out there that you can literally swab, send it in, they tell you what's going on, and they recommend which probiotics, so they can even send some to you, and boom, it will balance. It is that simple right now, ladies. But I really want to stress that point. You are what you eat. So if we don't have enough fiber, we're never going to feed the microbiome, but the cleaner you eat, the cleaner you are. So if you are always nervous about how you smell because you're going to be with your sweetheart and you're always self-conscious. Oh, you're always wiping yourself up down. You should never have to worry about that. Like you literally can get to a point where you are just clean. You are clean, you are smell clean, and you taste clean. Like you're just clean because you have a clean diet. When you have a lot of stagnant junk in the bloodstream. And think about that. Your bloodstream is what you are eating, drinking, and putting on your skin goes in the blood. So if I always tell people, picture putting your steak and your potatoes and your meatballs and your everything else into a blender and then blending it and putting it through a stocking, like a nylon. Can you do that? No, 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 no. For most things, it's going to be a little. But you so automatically think, well, if I added more salad to the steak, it would be easier to push it through my nylon. Good
Mhm.
thinking. So the cleaner you eat, the cleaner your bloodstream is, and the quicker everything comes out of the lymphatic system, which is your urinary and your colon and your skin. So if you're nervous about how you smell, change what's going in. Change what's going on the skin. Change that. Change it. Change it. Change it. Change it. Clean things up because you will be so happy with how you smell. I don't use deodorant or antiperspirant. Oh my gosh, like never, right? My husband,
Yeah.
we just don't because you smell like what you eat. Now you'll know if I had way too much sauerkraut and a bunch of onions, right? Because then I might
Right.
use a little bit of deodorant, but never antiperspirant. But like you just become what you eat and you smell it and you taste it. And so it is something that's real, and I very much am glad you brought that up because when we use douches, when we use condoms, especially the cheap crap, right? Please don't use those. Like, get to a point where you can afford the better things, you can keep your body clean, and please, please, please test that vaginal microbiome so you can get that balanced again. And especially if you're having babies, the minute that baby comes out, which is why you want to avoid a C-section as much as you possibly can, avoid those. I did 3 VBACs, right? I have 12 kids. I had 7 of them came out of my body. And you please have a vaginal birth. And this is why. When that baby comes out, it is covered in lactobacillus. That is the first exposure to bacteria the baby has. That is
Mhm.
their immune system. You pop that baby out of the stomach, look at all the kids that have asthma because they're C-section babies. Look at all the allergies and all the crap with ADHD issues because of the leaky gut, because they were never exposed to lactobacillus when they came out of that vaginal canal. When that baby comes out of the vaginal canal and is full of lactobacillus and goes to the breast, which is where it's supposed to go, designed by God, right? Or whatever you call Mother Nature in your world, that baby's thrashing around the breast, putting lactobacillus all over your breast, and then latching on, boom. Now we start the bacterial components and we're activating everything. So,
Yeah.
this is why it is so important to pay attention to how our bodies are designed and learn the systems of the body because they really do work like that. They really, really do work like that. And in Eastern medicine, that's what we do. We look at the whole body, where you're working, who you're eating with, who you're sleeping with, because cancer is not just inside of you, it's sitting next to you. And that quote came to me when I was writing my cancer section. I had just written my electrical section in my book back in 2012. And I'm in downward dog, and God says, "Cancer's not just inside of you, it's sitting next to you." And I'm like, "Oh, that's so true."
Right.
Because if we're with a bunch of negative, Nancys that are always dismal and
Mhm.
their life sucks and everything about their life sucks and like all the world sucks, everything they know is sucks. Well, how are you going to feel vibrant and happy when you're with over here? And so,
Mhm.
really understanding we are electrically connected to the food, the plants, the people, the mountains, the grass, the everything around us. And so pick who you want to become one with. Be picky on who you want to become one with.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. That's people that you surround yourself with is very important. And
Mhm,
for all the women listening, because you said, you will become clean from the inside out, right?
mhm.
do not fall for this clean crap at the store, all the like you said, the douche, the wash, the spray, the gel,
Mhm.
the whatever. I mean, I go down that aisle and I'm baffled
Mhm.
because even the change within the last 10 years,
Yeah.
I've been living in the US since 2008. In just the last 10 years, whole body deodorant,
I know.
good smelly things for down there, so we spray and it's like sweet vanilla. I'm like, "Excuse me?" And even feminine hygiene products with, with scented feminine hygiene
No, no, no,
and
no.
yes, I'm gonna throw those guys under the bus. I don't remember the company, but there is a company that is like organic but puts essential oils in there. No. That
Uh,
also, no.
uh,
Okay, it doesn't matter. We don't need to put lavender oil inside a tampon. I'm sorry. Sorry,
Amen,
rant
honey. The
over.
only thing that should go on an organic tampon is organic tea tree oil if you have a yeast infection. That's
Yeah,
it. Otherwise, nothing goes up there except your
yeah,
sweetie, you know?
yeah,
So,
yeah,
amen,
and
honey.
it's and not saturated either, It's like
Yes.
very little. This
I
is
love
not
it.
medical advice, everybody. This is not medical
No.
advice.
No, no, not at all. This is for entertainment purposes only. Do your own research. Be accountable to you.
I always laugh when, I know we talked a little bit about milk, but when you go to the farmer's market in Florida and you wanna buy raw milk, it says for pet consumption only. I'm like, "Yeah, it's for the cat. Sure."
Yep. Yep. If you're gonna do milk, get it raw right away the same day. But yeah. Great.
Yeah, and it's they pretend like, "Well, this is gonna kill you." Okay. Yeah. Okay, gotcha. So, real quick, before we're done, talk to me a little bit. I want you to just tell everybody about Lilyfield Center because, my God, when I went to your website and I saw this, I was like, I showed my husband and I said, "Look, this is paradise. This is what the Garden of Eden looks like. We should go."
Oh, thank you. It is beautiful. I spent the year 2022 traveling the country looking for where to open up a center. And I would pull in the driveway. I was, nope, knew right away, knew right away, knew right away. I'm a visionary, right? I'm very close to spirit, whatever you all call that, but I'm very, very in tune with that. And so, boom, after the whole year traveling, December 7th or 6th, I pull in the driveway, put the offer in on the 7th, close a week later. And it's just 67, 69 acres. And I can't wait for what it's becoming. So, like we put in a permaculture pond and we put in an electroculture garden. We've put in a lot of things, but we really have been focusing on the wellness center because that's what we do. We take care of people. But we've renovated some of the buildings into Airbnbs. We're actually going to be building oppie houses, which are those bee houses where you can sleep on top of the beehives and breathe in the propolis. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. We're putting in a big Russian sauna with the cold plunge and the awesome sauna. We're putting in dome houses. Like we have a lot coming. We are in need of more people though. Like we can only do so much. So now we're at that point where like we need people. We need people who like this is their dream and their vision. Come to Lilyfields, right? Call us first. But like it is. It's just heaven here. We love it. We love it. We love it. It's just neat. And for those of you who are like in energy work, we have like 3 ley lines going through the property. That's insane.
Wow.
Like it's insane to have 1. We have 3. And yeah, so we've got meadows and ponds and it's just really enjoyable. We love it.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody, if you need a reset and you need a real retreat, like an active retreat, not just, "Oh, I'm gonna go in and relax." No, 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 things that actually work around you to get you feel better. That's the one. lilyfieldcenter.com and zuzuunleashed.com. Love the
And
name.
the Zuzu Unleashed is kind of where we put that's like the landing page because we do the school, we have the wellness center, we have things that we're involved in. And so that is, you can go anywhere you want. But holistic health educators, like always, we are always, like I said, our students are all over. We're always doing events on weekends that you can come to and learn what you can do to become an educator and even a practitioner. We just can't wait to have you. We really can't. The world needs you and you'll be busy. So
Yeah. Yeah. And, zuzuunleashed.com, I think when I went there and I signed up for the newsletter, I got this beautiful PDF from you, about nutrition and about how to feed your body. So it's well worth it. I absolutely love it. It's very easy to understand too. So it's not somebody talking, medical blah blah with you, and you're like, "Huh, what?" So I love that you're very approachable. I love your energy. It is very, very evident that you do this because you want to have a ripple effect in the world.
Yeah. Yep.
So, yeah.
We do. That's what it were. And that's kind of funny you said that because the last scene of the documentary is actually that. We don't realize the effect we have. And it's the scene is actually on there's a drone and a photographer kind of zoomed in on me and my best friend is right behind me, one of my girlfriends, and doing karaoke kind of. I'm smiling, and then it starts to pan out, and my daughter comes, my husband comes, her sweetheart comes, and their family comes, and friends come. And as the drone pulls away from our property, we have hundreds, if not thousands, of pictures from clients and students from around the world that all start filling the page, because
Yeah.
it just started with someone who said, I'm not going to quit. And it does not to say there aren't days I wake up and go, I'm quitting. I am so done with this. I've got grandkids I haven't seen in 6 months. That's not to say that I don't ever just want to give up, right? That happens. That's in there. But that's usually between 2 and 7 in the morning when there's no dopamine and serotonin. And so forget it. So like literally one pebble can do so much and you're all pebbles. So just go throw yourself into something that's going to change the world because we need you and so do the people around you.
Yeah. Amen to that. I'm so glad you were here. I'm so glad you took your very valuable time out of your busy day. And let me know when your documentary is done and it airs so I can also, link that in comments, show notes, whatever, so people can find that later. Because, evergreen episodes, they never get old. And
Yes.
yeah, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. You know what to do. Like, subscribe, share, do all the things you need to do. And I see you again next week. And if you have questions, do not shy away from commenting. We will be glad to answer. All right, y'all. Bye.
Thank you so much for being here with me today. Leave a comment, give it a thumbs up, a review, and share it with somebody you think needs this. Have a fabulous day. See you next time.